Have you ever felt it? That strange, quiet tension inside you. It's like you're walking a tightrope between two enormous cliffs. On one side is the fear of being invisible, of being a nobody, the terror that if you stop striving, posting, and achieving, you would simply fade away, a forgotten face in the crowd. You feel this when you scroll through other people's perfect lives, or when you sit in a meeting, rehearsing the perfect thing to say, so that everyone knows you're valuable, that you're here. It's a desperate push outwards, a constant announcement to the world. I exist. I matter. Look at me. But then there's the other cliff. The cliff of being a somebody. This is the crushing weight of the reputation you've built. The exhaustion of upholding the image, of being the creative one, the responsible one, the successful one. It's the pressure you feel at a family dinner to have all the answers. The anxiety of a new project at work where you have to prove you're still the expert you were yesterday. It's the quiet dread that one wrong move, one moment of weakness could bring the entire carefully constructed identity crashing down. And in those moments, all you want is to disappear, to be invisible, to be a nobody, free from the burden of being somebody. This is the seesaw we all ride every single day, the frantic paddling to stay afloat, and the deep secret longing to just let go and sink into the quiet of the ocean. From the moment we are small, we are taught the art of construction. We are handed a set of tools and a blueprint for a person we are supposed to become. The blueprint is drawn by our parents, our teachers, the commercials on television, the stories we are told. The tools are grades, awards, job titles, promotions, the number of friends we have, the partner we find, the house we buy. And so we start building. We lay the foundation with good student. We add a wall called promising career. We put on a roof labelled happy relationship. Each compliment from a boss, each like on a photo, each person who says they admire us is another brick we carefully place in the wall of our somebody. We think we are building a fortress to protect us from the world, to keep us safe from that fear of being insignificant. But we've made a terrible mistake in our understanding of how things work. What we've actually built is a prison. And we become its warden, its sole, exhausted guard. We spend all our energy defending it. We patrol the perimeter, watching for any threat to its structure. A piece of criticism feels like a cannonball hitting the wall. Someone else's success feels like a crack forming in our foundation. A personal failure feels like the whole fortress might crumble to dust. We polish the bricks so they shine for others. We hide the cracks with new achievements. And we live in a constant low-grade state of anxiety, terrified that someone will see that our grand castle is just a fragile assembly of borrowed ideas and external validation. Think about it. Why do you get so defensive when someone questions your opinion on a movie? It's not about the movie. It's about them chipping a piece off the brick labelled person with good taste. Why does it sting when a friend forgets your birthday? It's a challenge to the idea that you are a memorable and important person. We aren't defending ourselves, we are defending the statue of ourselves that we've built. And this leads to the central paradox, a fundamental misunderstanding in the architecture of our experience. Why is it that the more we add to this statue, the more we strive to become an impressive somebody, the more hollow and disconnected we feel on the inside. It's like endlessly eating food with no nutritional value. Your stomach is full, but your body is starving. We chase the promotion, and when we get it, the satisfaction lasts for a day, maybe a week, then we need the next one. We reach a goal we've dreamed of for years, and we feel a momentary relief, quickly replaced by the emptiness of what now? The reason is simple, yet it's the secret we are almost never told. We believe we are empty vessels that must be filled with achievements to have value. But that's not how reality is set up. We are not empty. We were born completely, utterly whole. We are already the entire ocean. The frantic effort to become somebody is like a wave trying to become more wavy. It's a misunderstanding of its own nature. The emptiness we feel isn't a lack of something. It's the exhaustion from the constant effort of trying to add things to a self that is already complete. It's the friction of trying to become what you already are. It's like wearing a heavy suit of armour and forgetting the living, breathing body inside. We spend so much time polishing the armour, adding new engravings, and showing it off to others that we lose the feeling of being alive within it. We start to believe we are the armour, and that is the loneliest feeling in the world. The constant performance, the need for an audience, the fear of the curtain call. We are trying to prove our worth to a world that is simply a mirror of our own inner state. The more desperately we shout, "I am somebody," the more the echo comes back, whispering, "Are you sure?" Because the universe doesn't respond to our performance. It responds to our essence. And our essence doesn't need to prove a thing. This entire model of living, this blueprint for building a somebody, is an old, outdated way of operating. It's like trying to navigate a new city with a map from 100 years ago. It doesn't work anymore. The streets have changed. The very ground beneath our feet is shifting. The transformation we are all living through is the slow, dawning realization that the whole project of becoming somebody was based on a false premise. The goal isn't to build a better, more impressive identity. The goal is to dismantle it piece by piece until we rediscover the vibrant, peaceful, and infinitely connected self that was there all along, buried beneath the titles and the trophies. The journey isn't about addition. It's about subtraction. It's not about becoming. It's about unbecoming. It's about having the courage to be a nobody. Because in that space of nobody, something incredible is waiting. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So what happens in that space when you begin to let go? What happens when you stop reinforcing the walls of the somebody you've worked so hard to build? The first feeling isn't always peace. It can be fear. The mind panics because its primary job was to be the guard of that fortress. Without the fortress, what is its purpose? It shouts. But if you're not a successful professional, what are you? If you're not the funny friend, who will want you? If you're not a good son or a dutiful daughter, you are nothing. And this is where the great misunderstanding lies. The word nobody in our language is tangled up with worthlessness. But in the actual way things work, nobody means unbound. It means nobody, no single, rigid definition you have to cling to. It is the absolute freedom of a blank page before a single word has been written. It is the silence in a room before the music begins. It's pure potential. When you define yourself as a great artist, you can only do things a great artist would do. You are trapped. What if you want to try something clumsy and new? The identity forbids it. When you define yourself as a strong person, you're not allowed to have moments of weakness. You have to constantly perform strength, which is the most exhausting act of all. Being a nobody means you're free to be anything. In any given moment, you can be brilliant in one conversation and beautifully foolish in the next. You can be a leader on Tuesday and a humble student on Wednesday. You aren't violating your own identity because you don't have one to protect. You're simply responding to life as it flows. You become a fluid, adaptable consciousness, not a brittle stone statue. Here's the most beautiful part of this shift. Your genuine self, that unique spark that is truly you, does not emerge through more effort. It doesn't appear because you attended another workshop or read another book on finding your passion. It emerges through release. Think of it like this. Your true essence is a cork, naturally buoyant, wanting only to float on the surface of the water. But from a young age, we are taught to hold that cork down. The belief that you're not good enough is a hand pushing it under. The fear of being judged is another hand. The identity you've built, the somebody, is the biggest weight of all, forcing it deep into the dark. We spend decades of our lives applying this downward pressure, and we call it self-improvement or building a life. We think the struggle is normal. The tension is who we are. But the transformation happens the moment you get tired, the moment you decide to let go. You don't have to pull the cork up. You don't have to do anything. You just have to stop doing what you've been doing. You just have to stop holding it down. And in that moment of surrender, that beautiful cork, your unique and effortless self, just bobs to the surface. It was there all along. Your humour, your strange hobbies, your specific way of seeing the world, your kindness. It all just appears, not through force, but through a simple, courageous act of release. People who have truly found themselves aren't the ones who successfully built a perfect somebody. They are the ones who had the courage to dismantle it and let what was underneath emerge. They stopped trying, and in doing so they became everything they were ever meant to be. And here's the final, most profound shift in the architecture of your reality. In the state of being a tightly defended somebody, you feel fundamentally alone. You're an island. You see other islands on the horizon, some bigger, some smaller, and you spend your life comparing, competing, or feeling isolated. Your entire world is defined by the shorelines of your own ego. But when you let that identity dissolve, when you allow yourself to be a nobody, you make an incredible discovery. The shorelines disappear, and you realize you were never an island. You are the entire ocean. This isn't just a metaphor, it's how things are actually set up. By letting go of your specific, narrow definition of self, you suddenly become sensitive to the currents that connect us all. You feel empathy, not as a concept, but as a direct experience. The joy of a stranger laughing in a cafe isn't their joy. It's just joy, and it flows through you. The sadness of a friend isn't their sadness you're trying to fix. It's a wave of human sadness that you can feel and hold space for without being drowned by it. You stop seeing people as a collection of titles and labels and start experiencing them as expressions of the same consciousness you are. The division between me and you becomes thin, transparent. You realise we are all experiencing the same fears, the same longings, just wearing different costumes. Being nobody allows you to become everybody. When you have no face to defend, you can see the face of humanity in everyone you meet. When you have no story to promote, you can hear the beautiful, intricate story of another. This is the great secret. The quest for importance makes you small, isolated, and fragile. The embrace of insignificance makes you vast, connected, and unbreakable. You're no longer a single, lonely wave, terrified of crashing on the shore. You are the whole ocean, and the waves are just something you do. This is the shift from a life of frantic effort to a life of graceful unfolding. It is the beauty of being nobody, and in that emptiness, finding absolutely everything. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I am beautifully nobody." Write it as your promise. Nobody.